If you're aiming for success with your newly minted tag team, then I've got 9 steps to help you get there. It's next on Till We Make It. I'm Mike Quackenbush, and this is Till We Make It. If you are passionate about the craft of professional wrestling and you're never done learning all about it, then you've landed in the exact right place, my friend. What are you waiting for? Go ahead, join the Till We Make It tribe. Subscribe right now. Enable notifications. Leave a like-a-palooza on today's video. It helps the channel to keep on growing. You may know that among the many hats I wear in professional wrestling, one of them is as a consultant. And I do consulting not just for pro wrestling organizations as a whole, or the creative teams behind them, but also for individual wrestlers. And having recently started working alongside two newly minted tag teams, I began to compile a list of things that I thought were exceptionally relevant toward finding tag team success. So whether you are part of a brand new tag team or you're considering moving in that direction, today's video is for you. And right off the top, I want to knock a couple easy questions out of the way. So I often get asked, do tag teams have to travel together? No. Do you have to have a social media account that only represents the team instead of you as individuals? No. Does your gear have to match exactly? Well, kind of. We'll cover that one in step number 6. We'll get there today. Okay, without any further ado, let's dive right into the meat of the material. Here are my 9 steps for finding tag team success. Number 1 on my list, you've got to have the willingness and the ability to train together on a consistent basis. You're going to have to develop a chemistry while working together. And if you never train together, I think that's going to be impossible. It's a little bit like hoping to turn into a great band, but that band never practices together. Practicing or training in isolation will never help you to foster the kind of tag team chemistry that will lead you to success. Step number 2, you need to develop enough double team moves or tandem spots to populate an entire 10 to 12 minute tag team match. And after you've mastered 10 to 12 minutes, start thinking ahead to what's going to fill a match that's 14 to 16 minutes, and then 18 to 20 minutes, so on and so forth. But you need to have enough double team moves, enough tandem spots to fill an entire match so that every time you and your partner tag in and out, what you are doing feels like tag team wrestling and not like 2 guys who happen to be sharing the same corner. Step number 3 might sound obvious, but take it from me, it's something that not enough tag team partners are discussing with each other. You've got to have mutually agreed upon career goals. You've got to be heading to the same place ultimately. Because if not, those slightly different trajectories you are on will pull the tag team apart. And you need cohesion. That's why you're going to have to talk about what your career goals are and come to a mutual agreement so that you're working together. Step number 4 is exceptionally relevant given the era of pro wrestling that we're in right now. And there have been 4 eras of professional wrestling: the Carnival era, the Territory era, the Cable TV era, and the social media era. And that's why you and your tag team partner need to have a joint social media strategy. Now, does this mean that you need to have an account that is solely for the tag team as an individual brand? No, you can have your 2 separate individual social media accounts. That's perfectly fine, but you need to have a joint strategy. And here's what I mean by that. If one partner is constantly posting highlights from tag matches and what's being worked on in the ring or at the gym, while the other is only posting photos of what they had for breakfast and their pug, it's going to feel like they are not a united front. That's why you've got to have a joint strategy. This next one is a little tricky, but it will really help you to stand out from the pack. When you consider both mechanics and structure, you're going to design your tag team matches with the referee and the count always in mind. Now, let me get really specific about what I mean here. When I'm talking about mechanics, of course, I'm talking about the moves, the counters, the escapes, the spots. And when I'm talking about structure, I'm talking about that underlying architecture that forms the match. When you're considering both of those topics, you need to consider the referee and the referee's count at every turn. You're only going to have a count of 5 every time that you tag. And there are plenty of referees out there who are either very strict with their count or have been ordered to treat things as if they are a shoot. And if you're not considering what you can and can't get done within the count of 5, you're going to end up having a referee who walks into the middle of your double team spots or is otherwise interrupting a key moment in your matches. Up next on my list is step number 6. But before we dive in, I need your help. My goal for this year is to reach 100 patrons on my Patreon. And if you want to see Till We Make It remain a weekly channel here on YouTube, then I need your support right now. Follow that link down below in the descriptus and join our community. You can be part of it all for as little as $5 a month. And if you got a PayPal or a credit card, you can be part of it right now. You can start unlocking over 660 exclusive posts overflowing with wrestling knowledge and experience and insight. It's all waiting for you right now on my Patreon, and I won't reach my goal without you. Thanks. Okay, up 6th on my list of the 9 steps to lead you to tag team success is this one. You need to have a cohesive look and style. I want to break that down a little bit. It does not mean that your gear has to match each other exactly, but the look and the style does have to be cohesive. You have to look like a team, even if you don't match each other 100%. But I think you're going to want to avoid those odd couple type pairings where you do not look like a team, because those odd couple tag teams, they scream novelty. They scream short-term act. And if you're looking to really achieve lasting success as a tag team, your look and your style has to be cohesive. Step number 7. You and your partner must have a willingness to prioritize tag team bookings over singles bookings. Because the reality is, both of you are going to get far more offers for singles matches than tag team matches. And why is this? Because it's cheaper to put a singles match in the ring than it is to put a tag team match in the ring. Instead of paying 4 wrestlers, most promoters would prefer to pay 2 wrestlers and get the same match. So they're going to go for a singles match to fill a spot on a card versus a tag team match. And prioritizing those tag team bookings is definitely going to mean at some point you or your partner will turn down singles work in order to prioritize working as a duo. This next one is really powerful, so I need you to listen carefully. Both you and your partner need to commit to studying tag team wrestling from various countries and various decades. Because what you will discover by watching Lucha Underground from the 2010s is radically different from what you'll see watching the Fabulous Kangaroos back in the 1960s. And what Joint Promotions was putting on TV when they put tag team wrestling in the ring on the World of Sport television program is totally different from what Jim Crockett Promotions was doing in the 1980s in their tag team division. And that's totally different from what you'll see by watching All Japan Pro Wrestling from the mid-90s. You and your partner both need to become students of tag team wrestling. And we got to talk about this one. You've got to discover a healthy balance between time spent together and time spent apart from your tag team partner. Ultimately, this is a relationship and you've got to treat it that way. And while it's very important that you do things like make time to train together, to study tag team wrestling together, you also need to spend time apart so that you don't get sick of each other. That's happened to a lot of classic tag teams throughout the years, and ultimately, they choose to break up before they realize their full potential simply because they didn't manage their time well. If you want to keep on learning about tag team wrestling right now, then click the box appearing on screen. It will take you to a playlist that I have curated with all my tag team relevant videos in it. Or click on the box appearing on screen now. It will take you to my Patreon page where you can discover all of the materials I have created for fellow professional wrestlers just like you.